Beautiful country, over 20 wine regions, over 300 DOCs, 73 DOCGs. DOCs and DOCGs are very similar to AOCs of France. It's just that protected government rules, per se, and like where the wine is made, how it's made, how much percentage of what grape is in there, how long it ages, I said that already, what it tastes like, all those things. For a little bit of perspective, if you guys were to taste a new Italian wine each week, it would take you 20 years to taste through all of the Italian varietals. So there's a lot of stuff. Really cool thing about Italy, too, is that it is the highest wine producing region in the world. So even though we don't drink as much Italian wine over here as it might think, we're drinking tons of it. The whole world is drinking tons of it. They're making tons of wine in Italy. So kind of like I mentioned before, there are a couple different ways to classify Italian wine, the DOC and the DOCG. Again, just laws that control how long the wine is aged, what the flavor profiles are, where it's grown, and what grape varieties are used. There are a few Italian wine terms that we want to be familiar with. So Classico, that typically refers to a historic wine region or a wine done in a traditional style. So you'll a lot of times see Chianti Classico. So that's what that means. Referring back to our dessert section, dolce is Italian for sweet. So you will often see that on a wine on an Italian label if something is full of sugar. Frizzante is effervescence. So you'll see that sometimes in like a Lambrusco Frizzante or Moscato Frizzante. So that just simply means effervescent, fizzy spumante. Method Classico, going back to a sparkling wine class, you'll see that on bottles of sparkling wine, and what that means is that it is the traditional champagne method. So that secondary fermentation in the bottle, the disgorgement, and all of that natural effervescence. You'll also see Metato Cremant, or Charmat, and that is going back to Prosecco, so that's that tank method where the wine is infused with gas. So two different styles of sparkling there. You guys will also see Ripasso on a wine label. You'll see that a lot from the Veneto, and what that simply means that there's a second pass-through of a wine going through grapes to fortify it with more alcohol, more flavor, more concentration. You'll also see Reserva. So you'll typically see Chianti Classico Reserva, and that is just a requirement for aging. So typically if something is a Reserva, it's aged longer than a Classico. And then you'll also see Superior, which simply means that this wine is at a higher standard. So Chianti Classico Reserva Superior, that would mean a traditional wine, aged longer, and of a superior style.
I want that one.
Me too. I always want the Reserva Superior.
Give me
always.
that superior.
Always. So Italy is broken up into three major climate zones. The cooler climates of northern Italy, that's where you'll get a lot of Prosecco, Moscato d'Asti, Pinot Grigio, Soave, Barbera, Nebbiolo. And then in central Italy, where you have the warmer climates, that's where you'll have Lambrusco, Chiantis, the Super Tuscans, which are our Bordeaux blends from Tuscany, Montepulciano, all of those types. And then in southern Italy, in Sicily, that's where you have that very warm climate. Really hardy grapes down there, Vermentino, you'll see Grenache grown down there, Primitivo, which a lot of people think is the same as Zinfandel, very, very similar, but actually not quite the same. Negro Amaro, Nero d'Avola, Marsala, all those richies. So we're going to start off with Piedmont. I'm going to I think I'm going to just do this slightly different today and just kind of pull in the wines as we are talking about the region so that it makes a little bit more sense. But there are some classic things. Piedmont is where Nebbiolo is from. And Nebbiolo is the grape of northern Italy. It's very tannic. It tends to be lighter bodied in structure, and fullness and richness happens with aging. So today we're going to taste a Barolo, and a Barolo is Nebbiolo. And from the Nebbiolo lineup, per se, you'll have a traditional Nebbiolo, you'll have a Barbaresco, which is a Nebbiolo that has a longer aging requirement, and then you'll have the Granddaddy Barolo, which is aged for even longer, 5 years actually. You'll also find Barbera and Dolcetto in Piedmont. A couple other really cool wines. So back to those DOC, DOCGs, like today we're going to try all DOCG wines. So we've already talked about Barolo and Barbaresco, both 100% Nebbiolo, both DOCGs. Barbera, which I have right here, we have a Barbera d'Asti. This is 100% Barbera, typically low tannin, high acidity, dark cherry fruits, super approachable wine. These guys tend to be really affordable and are just really great representations of the area. And then you'll move into something a little bit heavier. Also, a wine that's typically a great value is a Dolcetto. I'm too close, but now I'm too far away.
No, now you're perfect. You're perfect. You're perfect right now.
Yes. So then getting into Dolcetto tend to be richer in flavor, kind of spicy, violety aromas, really meaty, lower tannins, great acidity, nice medium body. All Dolcetto has to be made from 85% Dolcetto, the grape. And then Moscato, of course, is from Piedmont as well. We're not going to taste the Moscato today because we've tasted one before. And like I mentioned earlier, dry Moscato is one of my favorite things to drink right now. So don't discount Moscato. Like, tons of sweet ones out there that are also, really delicious for what they are. But if you guys can seek out a dry one, I think you'll really enjoy it. Cool. Then I'm going to move these out of the way so we can talk a little bit about Veneto. All right, so you guys are definitely familiar with this region because this is where Amarone comes from, and we sell a decent amount of Amarone. Definitely one of the most important important wines. In Valpolicella, which is a DOC, so you have Valpolicella and Amarone del Valpolicella. So this is there we go. This is the DOC, and this is the DOCG. So again, we're talking about heightened quality, heightened aging, very specific flavor profiles. So Valpolicella is typically made from the Corvina grape, usually a blend, a couple other things mixed in there, but predominantly Corvina. And then the white wines of the Veneto are our good friend Soave, which we will taste momentarily. That is 100% Garganega, very, very cool grape. Soave, I have seen kind of a resurgence recently. There's a lot of bad Soave out there, but I think people are paying more attention to it. And we're importing some things that are much better and really tasty. So anytime someone's looking for Pinot Grigio, if you have a large Pinot Grigio set, you might want to clear some of those out and make room for some Soave and some Orvieto that we're going to taste in a minute. Prosecco is also from the Veneto, and as you guys will probably remember from our sparkling class, there are a couple different classifications of Prosecco. There are DOCs as well as DOCGs, and again, that is the Carmat method, bubbled with gas, not naturally occurring. All right, let's zip on over to Tuscany. I don't have my partner in crime here today. I feel a little bit sad.
It's okay. You have us.
I do. I have Allie and Scott, and they're great. But I'm getting up to get bottles, and it's just the room isn't as full as it normally is. It usually feels all tight and cozy, and feels a little empty today. Allison, on vacation. All right. So Chianti. That is where Tuscany is where it comes from. Chianti also has DOCs and DOCGs. Chianti is Sangiovese, and Sangiovese is the grape of Tuscany. So whenever you see that Chianti Classico, that is when you know the difference between the DOC and the DOCG. We are not going to taste a Brunello today because we can't taste all of the things because there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things, grapes, wines. But a Brunello is 100% Sangiovese and is kind of like the big mamma jamma of Tuscan Sangio. So give it a try. It's also a DOCG. I wish we could have tasted it today, but we had to diversify a little bit. Also coming out of Italy, or Tuscany, are our Super Tuscans. So that is Sangiovese blended with Cab Franc, Merlot, those Bordeaux varietals. And it's really geared towards, I think, the American palate. It makes Italian wine really understandable for the American consumer. Obviously, those grape varieties grow over there, so they're drinking them in Italy as well. But it's really marketed well towards our customers and towards people that like California Cab or Bordeaux. And we are going to taste pretty much everywhere except PA, our Criterion. That's the Chianti Classico, and there's a Super Tuscan. Never mind, I don't know what I'm talking about. I was thinking our Criterion was a Super Tuscan. All right. And then Lambrusco comes from Tuscany, and so does Orvieto, the white that we are going to try. Typically a blend of Greco and Trebbiano. So let's get tasting some wine. All right, folks, let's try that Orvieto. So let's get sniffing and get tasting. So we have a nice pale straw color, slightly golden around the edge. I smell some nice bright citrus. I can almost just smell acidity in this wine. Like, I can tell before I even put it in my mouth that it's going to have that zip and that zing. What are you guys smelling?
Sound is gone again.
Sound is gone again?
Yeah.
Can you all hear me now? No?
I think some people can hear you, so just keep going.
All right.
And I'll just respond.
We're going to keep going. If you can't hear, I'm really sorry about the tech difficulties we're having today. But you guys will be able to listen to the video as soon as Allie posts it. So those of you who can hear me, let's keep talking about this wine. What are you tasting?
Dusty dry apple, green apple.
Yeah, definitely got that Granny Smith apple thing going on. I'm definitely getting citrus off this guy. Nice acidity. You guys get the acidity?
Nectarine, grassiness,
I was going to say regular honey.
regular honey.
Mm-hmm. Apples, honey, lemon, melon. This would be really good with some prosciutto wrapped around some melon,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Sean's typing, so we should wait and see what he has to say.
All right, Sean, we're waiting for you.
Running legs.
Running legs. Yes. All right. let's get into that Suave. So, from Piedmont, 100% Garganega. What do you smell? I'm smelling a little bit of funk on this wine. It almost smells a little salty. Sorry.
That's okay.
See, my partner isn't here to pass the wine.
No, we're good. We're
I'm
good.
a creature of habit. I just, sit the wine down beside me and expect Allison to be there to move it along.
That was Scott's debut on camera. Now, I want you to guess how much this wine costs, if you want to.
All right, Allie's going to test me. How much do I think this wine cost? I bet this wine was $12.99.
$11.99. You're very close. Good job.
What are y'all tasting? A little bit more golden in color here. Definitely not getting as much pronounced fruit.
It is organic.
Getting a little bit of that salinity, minerality.
Oh,
A little bit of tang, a little bit of acidity. What are you guys seeing?
sour apple, minerality, lemongrass. Yellow apple.
Yellow
Quince
apple.
on the finish.
Quince on the finish. I'm trying to roll it back here so it doesn't cut off my
I'm
head.
tasting tangerine.
I could
Yeah?
push this.
It is a little
Back.
orangey.
Push
Yeah.
back. Yeah, push back.
Push it
Do your thing.
back.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
I'm not a huge fan of this.
I'm not a huge fan of the one that we're tasting either. It's not typical. I really love a Suave. So, we might have just had a bad picker today. No, that didn't sound right. That sounded like Allie was the bad picker. That's not what I meant. Whoever bought this wine and put it in the shop, which wasn't from Whole Foods because the store that we went to didn't have a Suave. Get a Suave in your set. Person that knows we got this wine from your store. So whoever put this in their store didn't pick the best representation of the grape. So I hope you guys are enjoying yours a little bit more than we are. Let's.
Oranginess, almost muted orange.
Yeah. Love it. Love that Scott was picking up that tangerine. So let's try some Barbera d'Asti.
Sean said the Suave reminded him of a light Riesling.
Scott's keeping me in check. Scott's my new handler. Meg, if you're out there somewhere, Scott is my new handler.
She's been passed off.
This smells super delicious. Look at that great color. Ruby, super bright. Quick running legs, coming down fast. Gosh, this just smells like crushed strawberries, like smashed strawberry jam. No, bread, strawberry jam.
Butter.
And butter? Yes. We're going to have a snack after this. White bread with butter and strawberry jam. All right, what are you guys smelling?
So far, very dark ruby. Legs deluxe. Definitely get the jam.
Yum. Nice acidity. Just a little bit of tannin. You're going to get Barbera from d'Alba and d'Asti. So Alba and Asti. The Osties typically tend to be a little bit more refined than the Albas. You guys can make that determination for yourself, but they're two different areas that grow in the same grape very close to each other. It's coming from a different community.
So we have raspberry. I get strawberry and cherry, thyme.
A little bit of herbaceousness for sure. Tiny bit of black pepper on the finish. Strawberries, black pepper. I think Barbera d'Asti is a great summer red. So it's not overly heavy, great with food, but also really easy to drink on its own. Be really good with barbecue. %, Barbera the grape. Cool. All right, let's hit up that Dolcetto. Dolcetto d'Alba. So,
Dana, do you want to show everybody which one you're drinking real quick? Just
Yeah.
So we got it. Sorry.
so this is what we've got. We've got the Tate Dolcetto d'Alba. I totally lost my train of thought bringing that bottle back in.
Apologize.
Let me think. What was I going to say? I don't remember. It'll come back to me if it's important. So let's take a look at that color. Deeper, probably heading, still a nice jewel-like red tone, but maybe heading more towards granite. A little bit more rusty than the Barbera that we just tried. Got some heavy running legs there. And the wine even smells a little bit deeper. Right? We had that really fresh, like strawberry aroma off that Barbera. This one's got a little bit darker fruit. More blackberry. Definitely getting a little spice. What are you guys smelling?
Juice.
I mean,
I like
that's what it is.
It is indeed juice.
How are you guys feeling about the tannin structure on that wine compared to the Barbera, which was pretty light? Feel that heaviness, that weight in the mid palate, a little bit of dryness behind your lips. This morning, as I was drinking my black tea and eating my walnuts, my mouth was full of tannin, and all I could think about was the Nebbiolo that I was going to drink later during this call, the Barolo, which is next, and how much tannin there is in my life. What do you think? What do you think? Great value, huh? Really great wine to give to someone who's looking for something that's a little bit more substantial, but easy on the wallet.
Sean says, cherries, jammy, nice, balanced tannins.
So who would you sell this to, Sean? If someone was coming in asking for X, why would you sell this to them instead? Who would you recommend this to? Typing. Anybody can chime in on that, actually.
One sentence at a time, Sean. Got a couple other people typing.
Cool.
I'm wondering if the lack of folks typing means that we're not sure.
We're not sure. All right. Well, I would sell this to someone coming in looking for a Zinfandel or a Cab, because it's super dry and it's nice and full bodied, but it has a little bit of a spice. So I think that you could turn either one of either type of customer onto this wine.
John said someone who's a Malbec fan and is trying something new.
Yeah. Malbec also has that kind of richness, that spiciness. So for sure. All right. You all ready to try this Barolo?
I am.
All right. So we have Rocha. I don't know how to say that. Castamanga.
Yeah.
So now is where you're going to really see what age does to the color of a wine. Allie's getting that wine.
I'm getting what I like to drink here.
So let's take a look at that color. You guys see, do you see that watery edge up there? You see a little bit of clearness, and then it gets more colored and deeper in the center. So as a wine ages, and a Barolo has to be aged for a minimum of 5 years before it can be released, you start to get that watery edge. And you'll see, too, that really nice brick color, very rusty.
Got nice and coppery, nice lighter red ruby.
What you smelling? I smell earth, a little bit of leather.
Stone.
Yes, stone, wet gravel.
Bramble and clay.
Clay, love it. Let's taste it. Hello, tannin.
Yeah.
Right? Tongue completely dry, mouth completely dry. How's you wanting to go? Nebbiolo is so tannic. Something that I learned recently, when you are blind tasting, and you're trying to determine the difference between a Nebbiolo and a Sangiovese, always remember that Nebbiolo is tannin forward, so tannin first, then acid. And when you're tasting a Sangiovese, you're going to have acid first and then tannin. So if you guys are ever on a blind tasting panel, that's a little secret. When we taste the Sangiovese, we might even come back to this Barolo to just kind of feel that difference, like side by side. But be thinking about it when we get to Tuscany. What do you guys think? What are you tasting?
Tastes like strawberry, raspberry that are tart and juicy. Smells like ripe strawberry with slate.
Yeah, Nebbiolo and Cab Franc are my two most favorite red grapes ever in the whole world. So I really love me some Barolo. I find that that Barbaresco actually is my favorite way to drink Nebbiolo. While I think that a Barolo is so beautiful and I love the way it mellows a little bit with age, that 3-year aged wine is a sweet spot for me personally. So
Anna said she would love to cook with this.
Yeah? Cook with it, like put it in a sauce, or drink it while you're cooking something delicious. Because I would drink it while I'm cooking with something delicious. Not sure I would dump it in a sauce.
Use it as a marinade and drink it.
Just don't forget to drink it. All right. I think we're going to hit Tuscany so that we can then end in the Veneto with that Amarone, because that Amarone is going to be juicy.
That's a $45 Barolo.
$45 marinade.
You are
just saying.
Fancy human.
All right, guys. Let's taste that Sangiovese. And actually, no, wait. Throw me back that Barolo. If you all have 2 glasses, let's do a little bit of compare and contrast between tannin versus acid. So let's get a little bit of Barolo in glass 1. A little bit of, I'm drinking the Criterion Chianti Classico. These wines are very different in age.
Did these two?
Yes. You should be able to see that if you're looking at them side by side. You're going to see that nice rusty color on that Barolo, and you're going to see a brighter, like more vibrant color on that Sangiovese and that Chianti. So let's give that Barolo a sniff. And then the Chianti. Very different, right? That Barolo, I get a little bit more fruit off of. Definitely get that gravelly, stony minerality. Then you stick your nose in that Sangiovese and you get some warm spices. Less fruit. I get some more savory aromas, like some spiciness, a little bit of mushroom. Kind of beefy. All right, so let's get that Barolo back in the mouth and remember that sensation of tannin. Right? You got it, you feel it, committing it to memory. Now let's taste that Sangiovese. And now your mouth's watering, right? Grippy tannin in the Nebbiolo, mouth-watering acidity in the Sangiovese. Cool. Let's focus on that Sangio, the Chianti. What are you guys smelling and tasting aside from that acidity? A little cranberry. A little bit of black raspberry, which I ate a whole bowl of yesterday because Donna Mays, she's one of our TMS team members. She has all of these gardens and grows all of these berries and fruits. And I was romanticizing about my childhood and all the black raspberries I used to pick with my grandmother. And I came in on Tuesday and there was a huge bowl of them on my desk from her. I almost cried. I need to send her an email and thank her. So anyway, cranberries, black raspberries.
We got rubber and cranberry, dark cherry pie, which also makes me want to have pie.
Mm-hmm.
Superior, thin legs, tart finish, also smelling wood, not much. Pomegranate-esque.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, those tangy red fruits. Cranberries, pomegranates, black raspberry. Definitely that acidity is juicy and makes your mouth water. Really good wine for an appetizer for with pizza. Something light. Don't overthink it. All right, and then let's move on to the Super Tuscan. So we have the Monte Antico Toscana. This one is 85 Sangiovese, 10% Cab, 10% Merlot. Typically, I think you're going to have a little bit less Sangiovese for this to be a traditional Super Tuscan, but we're going to go with it because it's almost there. I can't even get her the wines. I can't even get Allie and Scott the wines.
Oh, it's okay.
I'm distracted. Distracted because I'm alone up here on this side of the camera. Being dramatic. It's all good.
I'll put some violins on it. in the edit.
What are you guys smelling? Look at that color. Definitely darker than the Chianti. I'm getting a lot more fruit off this one than I did off the previous.
Plumminess,
Yeah.
fruity, dry tannins. We're moving on to tasting.
Okay, taste it, taste it.
Tasty, tasty. Dark ruby.
All right. So, more tannin though, right? It's coming from that cab. Cab is a tannin bomb, like Nebbiolo. But I think that Merlot is really adding to the fruit aromas that we're getting there. I'm always getting a little bit of a raisinated smell. Some baked fruit.
Tannic sweetness with plum raspberry.
Mm-hmm. I definitely got a little bit of sweetness on that as well. Yeah, what do you guys think? Who would you sell this wine to?
Jenna says myself. Tobacco sweetness in the mid body, fig on the nose.
All right. Let's move on to the Veneto. We're
I
gonna
would sell this to someone who likes sweet wine but is willing to branch out. wants to try something.
absolutely someone who likes sweet but wants to try dry. Show.
There's crossover.
Crossover wine. Let's get into the Veneto. All right, so Valpolicella, we got the DOC, we got the DOCG. So let's talk a little bit about Amarone, and just the style of wines that happen here. So our Valpolicella Superior is a traditional winemaking method, right? You're gonna crush, extract, ferment, let it sit in the tank, put it in a bottle, put it in a barrel. The easy, the classic. There is a style called Ripasso, which we talked about earlier when we were going through styles. And that is kind of a baby Amarone. So what happens with that wine are the raisinated, dried grapes that are used to make Amarone are held. And the Ripasso, so the Valpolicella, is poured over those spent skins and grape mashup, and it's used to add extra extraction and richness to the wine. So not full-blown Amarone, not simple everyday Valpolicella, somewhere in the middle. So you guys should give that a try, and we're going to try the Valpolicella first, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Amarone. So let's get into this guy. Look!
Yay!
I remember my other people on the other side of the table. All right, so what you seeing? What you smelling? This guy's also got a nice garnet color, a little bit of rustiness.
Got a garnet color.
Mm-hmm. Legs are running a little bit wider apart. What you smelling? Smell black fruit. It's a little bit chocolatey, like cocoa powder.
Oakiness, slight berry. Coffee. I smell the coffee. I absolutely smell coffee.
For sure.
Crappy coffee.
Love the way this wine feels in my mouth.
Leather and tobacco.
Definitely chocolate, coffee, leather, tobacco, savory notes. But how does that feel? How does that feel in your mouth? Like, I just love the texture of this wine. I think it's got this really silky mouthfeel. Feels rich.
Bitter,
Mm-hmm.
caramel.
Caramel, love it. Caramel, that feels more textural to me. I don't necessarily think I taste caramel, but I feel caramel in my mouth.
Shannon said it feels like Mexican hot chocolate.
Yes. Love it. So it's going to be really awesome to think about texture when we taste the next one, right? So even though this feels like nice and rich and caramely and luscious in your mouth, wait till you try the next one. So who would you guys sell this to? I would sell this to that Malbec drinker.
I would sell it to someone who was not going to eat. I think it would be good for food, but I also think it would be totally good on its own.
Yep, it's absolutely good on its own.
Sitting by a fire
Sitting by a fire, maybe roasting marshmallows.
at a gas station. Just kidding.
All right, let's get into that Amarone. Del Valpolicella, the DOCG. So Amarone is made from raisinated dried grapes. The grapes lose about 75% of their moisture, so that is why Amarone is so expensive. Very extracted in flavor and aroma. Really beautiful color. Still got that deep garnet thing going on. Really beautiful.
Huge fig and dates on the nose.
Yes, so much fig. Lots of dates. Very raisinated feeling, right? Or smelling. Dried fruit. Dried red fruit. Does anybody have those paleo dried strawberries?
Mm-hmm.
Holy heck. Kind of reminds me of this. Kind of want to eat some of those. I don't remember the brand, but go look down your dried fruit aisle and look for the paleo dried strawberries. So good. All right, let's taste it.
I can't tell what I'm smelling.
Mmm. What you tasting? So soft and so well balanced. Right? Doesn't that feel good in your mouth? Silky.
Like a little acidic on the back of my throat.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe tannic in
Tannin?
the back.
Yep, there's a little bit of that in there.
But it like rolls right on
Rolls right on through. Super balanced.
through. Pillowy and smooth.
Pillowy and smooth. Love pillowy.
Tastes like bitter dark chocolate. I get a lot of bitter.
Mm-hmm. You guys get some sweetness?
Sweetness initially, but then it fades.
Mm-hmm. Sweet fruit up front, nice tannin structure in the middle, super silky mouthfeel, finishes with some nice acidity, makes you wanting more, right? Don't you guys just want to keep putting it in your mouth, keep trying to figure it out? This is a complex wine. It keeps coming. The more you sit here with it and get to know it, just more just keeps coming to you.
Yeah.
Who would you sell this to?
I'd sell it to the old guy that always talks a big game like he knows everything about wine.
Oh, yeah. Got to get one into that guy. Who else? If someone's asking you for X, you'd sell them an Amarone. Talk to me.
Special occasion wine.
Mm-hmm.
If someone wanted like a nice bottle of whiskey, I might try to get them to buy this. Or a high ABV beer, you know, like something barrel aged or a barley wine or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, and also, there's this.
Wants to impress a date.
Yeah. So this is a much heavier wine than a Pinot, but I would also sell this to someone who is looking for a higher end Pinot. And the reason I say that is because this wine has so much finesse. And people that are typically looking for that higher end Pinot, they're looking for elegance and refinement. And that is definitely what this wine is. You all know how much I love Pinot Noir. I drink a lot of it. And I love Amarone equally as much. And if I went into a wine shop and I was looking for, you know, a Penarache, and someone was like, well, we only get that once a year, and we sold it all the week that it came in. I don't have any more Penarache, but try this Amarone. I would be like, heck yeah. Okay. All right, guys, so we're getting close to the end of our time. How are you feeling about Italy? There's so much more to Italy than we had time to talk about in this 1 hour call. Kind of the same thing we were talking about with France. There's just so much, so many regions, so many appellations, so many varieties. It can feel a little bit overwhelming. So what we really tried to do here was focus on the 3 heavy hitters, which I think we did. Hopefully you guys are feeling pretty good. Do you have any final Italy questions before we sign off?
Which is more complex, France or Italy?
Oh, man. Equally so. Equally so. I think for me personally, France was much easier to digest, and it was easier for me to learn. Italy's been a slow burn.
Did you take French or Spanish?
Did I take French or Spanish? I actually took Latin.
I was going to say.
I took Latin, and I took 1 year of French, but I got through like a few weeks and then dropped it for an art class because I didn't need to take it. I already had my 2 years of foreign language. And so I decided to do ceramics.
It's also very useful.
Yeah, I made some really cool, like, wind chimes in ceramics class that I think my mom still has. So.
Did you make any ashtrays?
I did make some ashtrays.
Me too.
My wind chime, like, mobile that I made, they were actually, like, magic mushrooms. So they were all, like, rainbow colored and tie-dyed, and I really had fun making these hollow mushroom caps and then stems, and they had polka dots on them, and it was very cool. It was very cool. So French for me personally was a lot easier to digest, and Italy has taken some time. And I went to an Italian wine training recently, and was just schooled so hard by this beautiful sommelier, and really walked away with even more knowledge than I had before, and it was pretty awesome. And the cool thing about wine, and something that I hope makes you guys feel good, is that the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. And that's just kind of a reminder to always keep your ego out of this game. You know, I think that the wine business can be an ego-driven business because it can just be highly competitive. And I think that serves no one. I think that you should approach wine with an open mind and an open heart and an open palate. And you're always going to learn something new. You're always going to taste something different. Grapes and wines are constantly evolving and changing. And the more open and honest you stay, the more you'll know. So even when you think you know a lot, just take a breath, keep tasting, keep drinking, keep learning. All right, any final questions? Yeah, drink wine every day. Thanks, y'all. No call on the 9th. Is it the 9th?